We have, now let me see, propagating. Well, you certainly take your sweet time, don't you? There we go, we are live. Excellent, okay. Hey everybody, if you can hear / see me, just give me, thank you Casey, yep, just give me a sign of life because we are now using a streaming solution that does not allow me to see how many people are viewing from YouTube and Facebook. So I have to trust that you guys can hear me. Awesome. Okay. So you guys are here. Very cool. All right. So today we are going to go one final time through the launch process that I have in the project management portal for those of you who are doing this multiple times for clients. It's in the notebook portal for those of you who are only going through this once. But I just wanted to dive into any questions that you have about launching your startup, landing your earliest paying customers, because we need to get this done. We need to get these two things done in order to in order to move on to actually having fun with growing your company. The reason I like to land a few paying customers before we look at growing your company is because we need validation that people actually want to buy what you have. And if you don't have anyone willing to buy what you have, then we need to look at your idea or your concept, see what needs to be refined before we pour money into trying to grow it. Something that makes me really, really, really frustrated. As some of you know, the reason I ended up in the marketing space is because my parents were screwed over by a total jerk who was supposed to be a business advisor. So something that really frustrates me today, and it's still super common, I don't know why more people aren't speaking out against this, but someone will come up with a business idea that's not completely hashed out, or it's not refined enough to really get a lot of juicy paying customers. And someone who took like a Udemy digital marketing course will say, oh, I'll run paid ads, you'll have thousands of paying customers in a day. And like they'll invest $3,000 to $5,000 into paid ads without ever seeing a customer. And it may be because the ads were bad. It may be because their business idea was not fully hashed out. It might be something as simple as there was a bug on their website that didn't allow people to check out. So the launch process that I have, we don't just look at refining your idea to make sure that it's easy for people to understand and to buy into. And it's set up to show that it's a trustworthy business. We also look at getting your first few customers through and paying to make sure that everything is working properly. And that's also why I like to launch with family and friends first, like to get your first 10 customers from people you know, because if there's a bug on your website, they'll tell you. Whereas somebody who clicks on an ad and sees a bug on your website, if they don't know you personally, they just leave thinking it's a scam. And you've wasted money running ads to try to get people to buy something that they think is a scam and they're not buying. And it could be a really simple fix. So I try to get all of those little things that can prevent your company from taking off taken care of within the first month. And that's why we have this launch process. So any questions that you have about this process, let's drop them into the Telegram group or into the chat box on YouTube so that I can answer them for you. If not, I'll kind of just run through let me share my screen. Okay, I can't share my screen the entire time because then it'll show all the content and that kind of defeats the purpose. This is supposed to just be content for people who actually bought access to it. It's not fair to give it to everyone else for free. But this is the notebook that I'm in right now. Here's the link if you want to jump in. I did make this temporarily available for everyone to purchase, not just for Molo9 members. So you can you can grab it there quickly if you haven't already. And okay, so shoot, let me know what questions you have. Oh, and we do have a private group session after this at 1 p.m. So like 50 minutes from now, if you wanted to ask questions that are like very niche specific, or you don't want the public of YouTube and Facebook to hear or see what your questions are. Okay, so what questions do you guys have for me about this? I know that this is lagged by 19 seconds, so it always makes that awkward transition between when I ask what questions you have and when I see what questions you have. Any questions? If you don't have questions on the launch process, you can just ask questions on whatever else you'd like to talk about instead. No questions for me? Should I just ramble on about the launch process a little bit more? What types of questions do you ask owners, principals who... Okay, so Casey asked, what types of questions do you ask owners, principals in order to discover the prime unique selling proposition? I find sometimes it's obvious to owners, so they don't think it's important. Yeah, okay. This is actually a really interesting one. So there's like it's an inventor's dilemma. I don't know if you've ever how much you've gone into like Myers-Briggs or Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies, but there's certain types of people that they love to create. And they also like to think that everyone else around them is very intelligent, and that they don't want to offend somebody by like saying very plainly what their value proposition is. And they're like, oh, come on, anybody who's smart enough, who's dumb enough to not know what my value proposition isn't smart enough to be one of my customers. And that's kind of the play they take. And very soon they don't see any money coming in. They realize they have to change their tune. So with the what makes you different, why should customers buy from you? I don't ask them necessarily what makes them different and why customers should buy from them. I ask them kind of like what their story is behind why they created what they created, and kind of extract their value proposition from there, if that makes sense. I'm answering this as somebody who's, because this is being asked by a digital marketer, I'm answering this as I would a digital marketer working with a client. Oftentimes when a founder hires a digital marketer, they don't necessarily know what they're doing wrong. And they may hire you saying, I just need more customers. I just need you to run paid ads. But it's kind of like being a doctor where somebody comes in and they say, I have a sore throat, I just need medicine. And the doctor has to ask a few questions to figure out what's really wrong before they can write the prescription. I think with digital marketing, it's sometimes the same as well. So if somebody hires you as a digital marketer to come in and help them get sales, and you're trying to figure out what their value proposition is, and they say something like, our value proposition is obvious. Everyone that should be working with our company, they know what it is, or they shouldn't be working with our company. I've seen that so many times. You are not alone. That's fine. The way that I go about it is with the onboarding for MD9 clients, I have like in the questions, like I ask them about like how they got into this, why they're passionate about this, where they see themselves in like 5 to 10 years. And I kind of like go through like who do they consider their peers and competitors now? Which brands most excite them? Like who do they one day want to call their peers? So I know like, okay, this is where they see themselves. and this is where they want to see themselves. And kind of from there, I extract, they desire to be valued by society in this way, and they currently believe they're valued by society in this way. I also try to figure out what their story is, because I found that, at least with a lot of the companies I work with, I don't really work with a lot of companies where their value proposition is that they're the cheapest option out there. I work with, most of the companies I work with, their value proposition is that they care more than anyone else will. And so I look for what their story is behind it, because I found that selling with their story is very powerful. Not only does it lead to great customer acquisition, it helps us to acquire very loyal customers. Just think about the last time you bought from a brand because you trusted the founder. That's with startups, that's typically what happens, is people aren't buying the solution from that startup because it's the best option out there. It's usually like a beta version of the best option out there. They're buying it because they trust the founder to create the best option out there. So I try to find out like what their story is, what drives them to create the solution they created, and that usually helps you to find what their value proposition is. So, for example, if you have a software solution that the founder has been working in IT for 15 years, and he or she just created a software solution that addresses a key problem that they saw. Okay, so what other questions do you guys have? And Casey, does that answer your question, or did you want to dive deeper into it? Good, I'm glad. Perfect. That's the goal, is for you guys to get some inspiration from this, to go back and knock out whatever objectives you're working on. So today we're going over the notebook. Next week I actually wanted to dive into the project management portal, because I feel like that's a very powerful tool for a lot of you guys using Molo9, and so I just want to make sure that I can walk you through it and show you how to use it in a way that makes you more comfortable to start using it more consistently with your clients. I also created a free account, a free limited access account, so you can now have your clients sign up for a free limited access account to be able to view your projects. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna go piece by piece through these. I think the build version of one of your website process is laid out pretty clearly. So is the list of tools that you should set up to collect consumer data. Here's the link to the websites. Here's the link to building version 1 of your website. Here's the list of tools. There's just 6 tools that I recommend for startups to use to collect information about your website users, just to help you figure out how to make your offers better, how to make your website and your content perform better. One of my favorite tools in there allows you to see where your most successful competitors have appeared on Google, view every keyword they've purchased Google ads for, and see their highest performing organic content so you can make comparable content to compete with them. And it also allows you to view every ad variation that they have used for the past 14 years. You could see that entire list of consumer data resources that I recommend over here. Dropping it in. All right, then we have, if you're creating a completely new innovation, you don't want to ask customers what they want, because they can only answer as far as their current knowledge and experience. And if you are a professional in the industry, you may know of solutions that they do not know of yet. For example, when I've shown before Molo9, when I would show the database that I used to look for different marketing solutions for founders, their eyes would glaze over and they're like, I don't even know how to read this thing. And like, I can't believe you have this giant database of thousands of marketing strategies, like accessible in a few clicks. So you as a thought leader in your space, in your niche, you may know exactly what is needed to be created. What exactly you can create to solve a specific problem. And people that are in your target market may not know that a solution like that can be created. So there's a survey that you can use. This is a few different people have different versions of this survey. They have different ways that they create the survey. In business school, at IE Business School, there's IE's specialty and their pride and joy is that they prep us for the startup space and for creating great startups. So we had a few courses on entrepreneurship. Yep, hair down day today in the comments. Okay, so in that course, we did talk about how to create surveys to identify a solution that you can build easily. Then Y Combinator has a recommendation for how to create the survey. There are a few different books about launching startups, and they also have recommendations for how to create the survey. Based on my knowledge and experience, this is the way that I create the survey to test a new innovation and figure out the best way to present it to the public. So you have the access to that link here. I just dropped it back into the comments box, also into Telegram. Something that I think is crucial in the launch process. I'm just going to keep going through the launch process until you guys drop in questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. David, hi, how are you? I did not recognize you under the Business Arena username. Welcome to our live Q&A. We're going through the launch playbook right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them into either the Telegram group or into the chat on YouTube. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going through the launch playbook and kind of walking through why each step is there and answering any questions that you guys might or most popular questions about those topics. So the Moneymaker workbook, this used to be like a one-page note, but I think it's much better. It's easier to consume and to go through as a workbook. That's why you guys now have a workbook instead. The Moneymaker workbook, this basically walks you through if you have an idea of what you want to create, but you don't know how to present it and how to price it and how to package it, this book kind of walks you through that. Just skip step 1. If you want to create a startup, but you don't necessarily know, like you have a few startup ideas, but you don't know which one you want to go with, then go through step 1, because that'll help you to, step 1 and 2 will help you to figure out like which startup idea you should pursue right now. And then also, if you have a company and let's say you've maxed out, you're selling only one product. I know we have a few Molo9 community members that they have a company that specializes in selling one product, and they've literally sold that product like to max capacity. So the people will only buy that product like once a month or once every 3 weeks, like once every 2 to 8 weeks. And they literally have everyone on their email list purchasing that product once every 2 to 8 weeks. That means you've saturated that revenue stream. So it's time to think of something else that you can sell to that target market. A great way to diversify and to set up another revenue stream, selling something else to that same group of people that like enjoy buying from you and they trust you, is to run through the Moneymaker workbook. Soon we'll be coming out with a version that basically adjusts this strictly for diversifying revenue streams for existing businesses. But for right now, you can use the Moneymaker workbook. to figure out how to diversify your revenue stream. I know David said, the CEO of the Business Arena, said that he was using this with some of his clients to diversify revenue streams. So, but here we go. Okay. Next, I think the easiest way, I'm the middle of 30 cousins on my dad's side. And something that's always been really nice for me is that I've never had to not never, but I very rarely have had to figure out things from scratch because I've always had older cousins who went through some process, at least 3 to 5 older cousins who went through that process before me, and they were able to turn around, give me their key takeaways, and I was able to complete whatever the objective was much faster. So the next thing that I have, or the next note that I have in the launch playbook, is just a few tools for refining your startup solution if you're creating something from scratch, like a brand new startup solution. If you are like joining the masses who are drop selling like proven products on Amazon, this isn't necessarily a tool for, or a note that's like that you need to read through. This is for people who have an idea for like a new innovation. They're like, okay, I have this great software solution, or I have this great book, or I have this great product, and people aren't buying it, and I don't understand why. This will kind of walk you through a few of the different ways that you can pull apart what your idea is for the business to see, to kind of be your own consultant and see how you can maybe modify what you want to offer to be something that's more appealing for buyers. So there's just like a few tools and a few videos in here. All the videos are actually from Y Combinator. I think they have some really, really great resources for startups. Okay, so after you've gone through all of that, then what I recommend doing is looking for 3 customers amongst your current group of contacts. So friends, family, followers, finding 3 people that want to buy what you're offering. If you cannot find 3 people that know you and trust you and want to buy what you've built, then you have to look at what you've built and see how you can modify it to be something that people want to buy. Giving it away for free is not a solution. Getting 200 people to sign up for a free whatever is not the same as getting 3 people to purchase a new product or software. When people get something for free, the feedback they give you is not going to help you get more paying customers. When people pay for something, the feedback they give you will more often than not give you information and knowledge that'll help you to get more paying customers. And as much as it's fun to have like 300 free users, you're not really going to have fun as an entrepreneur if you can't pay the bills. So you really do need to look at getting paying customers as early on as possible. There's a great piece of advice by, I think it was the founder of LinkedIn, who said, you want to launch, if you are embarrassed by your first product or service, then if you are not embarrassed by your first product or service that you present to the public, you launch too late. And I kind of use that same idea, that same principle when I'm launching new startups and products and projects. I really do launch with an MVP. I look at it like a scientist. Like, we have a hypothesis. We believe that people will like this offer. And then we're going to get feedback from these people that buy version 1. And we're going to make version 2 and bring that to another group of people who don't like to buy a beta version of things. Then we take version 2 feedback and we bring that to the next group of people. This concept is called the diffusion of innovation theory, or the marketing adoption curve. I go into detail with it at the beginning of the launch playbook, that video that's 3 minutes long. But the getting your golden 3 is basically getting the people who are in the first part of the marketing adoption curve. All right. Next on, did I give you the link to the golden 3? No. Okay, here are the resources to refine your startup solution. Here is the link to get your golden 3. Okay, there's crucial content you want to add to your first website. You don't need to have it all there. If you have a marketer working on your team, or if you have a website developer working on your team, copywriter, graphic designer, any people like that with those skill sets working on your team, it's ideal to have I have a list of the crucial content to add to your first website. It's best to have that done as soon as possible. With some startups, you don't always have the luxury of that in the beginning. You do have to be building your product at the same time that you're building your product and growing your company at the same time. So some of this might come a little bit later. You do want to just aim to have it done, ideally within the first 6 months of growing your company. The crucial content to add to your first website, that does have to be up before you go for press coverage. I found that if I don't have that up and journalists look at the website, they don't write about that company and they say, it seems like a young company, please come back to me in a couple months when they seem like they're more well-footed or more developed. Here's the link to the list of crucial content. You might notice some of the projects I work on, we don't have all that up yet. We're also not going for press coverage yet. So that's kind of, I think, your minimum is, okay, if I want to have this list complete by the time I go for press coverage. I think is a good way to look at it. But this entire list, it does help with, it helps to improve your search engine rankings because it indicates to the website crawlers that you are in fact the website, the company website that is referred to when other people talk about your company. So if you're going to use something like endorsed reviews, if you're going to list your website in different directories, if you're going to work with strategic partners and have them talking about your website and promoting your site, it's nice to try to have as much of this done, the crucial content checklist done as possible, just so that Google, when somebody types your business name into Google, you rank higher than the other people who are talking about your company. Some of you might have noticed in the early days of Molo9 that Molo9.com didn't actually rank for Molo9. The podcasts that I went on to speak about Molo9 ranked higher than Molo9 did for its own name. To fix that, I added our FAQ section and I added most of the content that you see on this checklist. And that helped to indicate to Google that Molo9.com was when people are searching for Molo9, they are searching for my company. And so my company's website should come up first and foremost. Okay, next thing, create an email marketing lead magnet. Email marketing can be super annoying. I totally get it. I'm an introvert. I feel like when I'm sending people an email, I'm like intruding on their private space. I totally get it, but you have to think about it this way. The people who sign up to receive your emails, they actually want to hear from you. They want to know what's going on. They want to be kept in the loop. And if they don't, they're going to click on subscribe. You might think, oh, but I have a Facebook group, so I don't need the email list. Or, oh, I have a Telegram group or a LinkedIn group or a group somewhere else online, so I don't need that. Well, if one of those groups changes or one of those other platforms changes their algorithm tomorrow, you don't have that group. Your email list is one of the few things that you actually is an asset for your company. This is me holding that list. that you actually own and possess is your email list. When Molo9 launched on, we were featured on a marketplace. When we launched on that marketplace, more than half of our, actually almost all of our sales the first month and a half came from people that were on the company email list. With Facebook, I don't know if you've noticed, their algorithm keeps changing to try to force businesses to purchase more ad space, because they don't make money from the groups. They make money from selling ads. So their algorithm, they're constantly changing it so you don't get organic reach. If you notice, we're not active on our Facebook group, because when I post something to the Facebook group, not everybody sees it and not everyone's notified of it. When I post something in the Telegram group, everyone gets a notification. When I post something in email, everybody gets a notification. So as much as you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to create an email marketing lead magnet later, just even if it's something simple, maybe not a lead magnet, maybe it's just like a little sign-up bar that says, hey, join our email list so we can keep you in the loop. You want to have some way for people to easily give you their email as early on as possible. Okay, any questions on that? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going through the launch process. Okay, here's the link to how to create an email marketing lead magnet. This is a workbook. If you are not Molo9 member and you don't want to buy the launch process book, you can grab the email marketing lead magnet workbook in the resources section on Molo9. Let me give you that. The workbooks that are available to the public do change on a regular basis. They rotate over time. So you do have access to it now. If you're watching this video, I don't know, a few months from now or a year from now, you might not have access to this workbook. Some other people. Oh, okay. The next thing I like to do in the launch process is get other people excited to grow my business for me. And the easiest way to do this is to share the revenue, to give commissions on the revenue. With Molo9, we give 10%, currently what we're offering to affiliates is 10% lifetime commission. So if you have a one-time purchase product, like something where somebody buys it once, or they buy it, they pay only once per quarter or once per year, you might want to give a higher commission just to get affiliates excited about selling whatever you have. For Molo9, we do 10% of the lifetime of the person. So let's say that you tell your friend about the workbook. They buy the workbook, and you use your affiliate link, and they purchase that workbook. Then that person is forever tied to you. So anything else that they have to purchase the workbook within 180 days of you referring them to that workbook. Then their IP address and their account are forever tied to you as their affiliate. So any other purchases that they make on Molo9.com, you get 10% of until they stop buying things on Molo9. I like that one best in terms of revenue share. There are other options out there. There are other ways to compensate your strategic partners. A quick Google search will give you like a full rundown of all the different options out there. But I kind of walk you through right here. I walk you through the process of if you want to set up an affiliate program. This is how I set them up. If you don't want to use an affiliate program, you want to use a different type of market share, like maybe selling through a marketplace, then I also list a few of those marketplaces that are like most popular to list on this note as well. Okay, Any questions on any of that? Otherwise, I will keep chugging through. Because next we have the how do I conduct a launch. Do not skip the other steps and go straight for this one. You could switch. You could conduct the beta launch and then look at launching an affiliate program. I found it's easiest to put the affiliate program on the site, on the website first, and then do the beta launch, because then people who are coming to your site, not all of them are looking to sign up for whatever you're selling. Some of them are looking to see if you have an affiliate program. And so that's kind of why I put the affiliate program onto the site before doing the launch. If you have time, if you're totally strapped for time and you need to do the launch, get paying customers, and you don't have time to do the affiliate program, it's not like top priority. But yeah, I mean, it always depends on your two main resources, time and money. If you have team members that can help with it, excellent. With the launch process that I use something called the public launch, also known as the beta launch. The two names are used interchangeably now. There are a few other ways to launch that I outline in that note. So if you guys have any questions on how to launch, drop them in. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next thing. Okay. Guest appearing on podcasts and talk shows. Some people like to make you believe that you need to appear on the best talk shows and podcasts. Some people try to tell you that you should be paying them $2,000 a month to get on the new and young podcasts and talk shows. You can do this for free in less than 5 minutes a day. The objective of being on podcasts and talk shows isn't only just to have like those sexy brand names like the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, what is it? What is that guy's name? The Tim Ferriss Show. It's not just to have those on your website. It's also to give people a chance to hear you speaking. And it gives you some validation when you are not just speaking on your own YouTube channel, but you're also invited to speak on other people's channels. So if you notice in the Molo9 testimonials, quite a few people said that they listened to my past podcast interviews before purchasing Molo9. So that kind of should give you a little bit of proof that people do actually listen to those interviews to determine whether or not they're going to buy from you and trust you. The process that I have in the launch playbook shows you how to field in opportunities and identify opportunities to get on talk shows for free in less than 5 minutes a day, or actually it's more like 5 minutes twice a week. If you want to try that, if you have a publicist, awesome, great. Then you don't really need to worry about this. If you don't have a publicist and you don't want to invest $30,000 in starting with a publicist, or $5,000 a month in starting with a publicist for 6 months, then this is a great way to get your feet wet and to get started. Once I used this process to get on a few shows, then people started contacting me through LinkedIn to ask me to come on more shows. And that's kind of how I leveled up from going on like some very, very basic, very young shows to going on some shows that are consistently ranking in the top, on like #1 in search engine rankings. We have 18 minutes left. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. There's a list of 100 places to share your startup launch, and they're all right here. Thanks to Notion. A gent published this to Notion. Just dropping your startup into, I don't know, like trying to drop your startup into 10 of those a day or even 5 of those a day, just to get backlinks. That's really kind of the main objective there, is to get the backlinks. I've gotten traffic and buyers from a few of those, but they didn't come from those and make a purchase. They came from there, went to viewed the podcast embed page because I used to have the podcast and interviews embedded on a page on Molo9, and then they made a purchasing decision. They weren't people who like read what our post was on that page and then immediately bought. They kind of went there and like did a little bit of research first. Coupon codes are the next thing that I talk about in the launch process is coupon codes. That's more of an SEO play, not so much a customer acquisition play. It gets you the links. It gets you backlinks from websites that have higher Alexa rankings. So that's one strategy there. If you are a luxury brand, I would not recommend using coupon codes. I would recommend having like a free gift code. So you have a code that they put in at the end and it gives them a free gift with their purchase. Okay, so we are halfway through the launch playbook. Do you guys want me to just power through this, or we're at day 13, but the last few days are kind of packed? Do you want me to just power through this, or do you want me to pause, open up for questions, and we can dive into the rest of this next week, or you can ask your questions in the Telegram group? Just let me know in the comments either on Telegram or in the chat box. Sorry if I'm talking like a robot through this process. I've done it, I don't know, like 100 times. So my brain usually just switches to autopilot, and I like, some of my friends joke that I become that racetrack horse that has the blinders on, and I kind of just run through the process and don't come up for air until it's done. I have to get better about not talking like a robot and switching into autopilot mode when I start talking about launching. But yeah. Okay. Any questions? Otherwise, I can just keep going through this. Okay, we have 14 minutes left, so I'm just going to pick a few of these from the final days. Creating exclusive offers to get happy reviews on third-party websites. I don't know why some founders, if you're a marketer, you'll probably find, you're more often to find this. Founders who are tuning in, I love you. You have a special place in my heart. People are not going to give you happy reviews just because they're happy with your company. It takes a lot to get them to remember to leave you a happy review. So you have to create an offer. Marketers tuning in, you already know this. You've probably come up with like 100 offers over the course of your career to get people to leave happy reviews. Founders tuning in, I've written this. This is more so for you to have a guide on how to get those happy reviews. Because you do, and I put examples from other companies as well, so you realize, like, okay, you really do have to not only like give people an offer, but you have to remind them of that special offer several times in order to get them to leave you the happy review. So these are a few that this note, in this note I outline a few of the things that you can offer or that I've seen offered to collect happy reviews. And I also include a few screenshots of how people have used used exclusive offers to collect happy reviews. There's two things in here. One of these is a gray hat growth hack. I'm not going to dive into it now. If you have access, you can see this. If you don't have access, it's not really fair for me to tell you about our secret growth hacks that we use over at Molo9. They are really just for the Molo9 members. So those of you who have read this book know exactly which gray hat growth hack I'm talking about, and those of you who have not read the book yet, shame on you. You are missing out on an amazing growth hack that I don't know if it'll work for that much longer. So you may want to jump on it now. Casey just asked, how do you feel about those emails that go out with thumbs up, thumbs down that take people to Google reviews? I don't know. I haven't really seen those work too well because people think that they have to click the thumbs up button and then they're taken to a Google review. I'm going to get into MarTech lingo for a second because Casey asked, and Casey is a marketing veteran. Casey, you know how there's the NPS scores, and studies have shown that people only leave a review if they're either very angry and have a low NPS score, or they're very happy and have an NPS score of 9 or 10. So the thing is, with those emails, sending them out, you're going to get the people who have a 9 and 10 who are extremely happy leaving the review. But I haven't really seen, a few times I've worked with companies where we had like really good data on the NPS scores of all the consumers. And with those, like with requesting reviews, we had a link tree that gave them 3 options. The 7 and 8s didn't leave reviews, even from the link tree. It was only the 9s and 10s, but the 9s and 10s were so happy that they were leaving reviews anyways. They sent a thumbs down to a web form. I've not seen that. I mean, that could be a smart idea to have where you have the thumbs up go to publish the review and the thumbs down to give feedback. I mean, that is an interesting idea. Have you been, Casey, have you used that at all with any of your companies and seen success? What actually would be interesting is for the thumbs down, to have it lead to chats to customer support instead of leading people to a form. Like, we're sorry you're unhappy. We'd love to know immediately how we can fix it. Okay, so you have seen it working. Maybe that's something that we should add to the Molo9 database. I haven't seen any of that come into my inbox yet. Oh, that's good to know. Okay. So Casey was saying that, for those of you who can't see the comments, that sending out an email to customers where they have a thumbs up and thumbs down, and the thumbs up links to Google reviews for people to leave a Google review, and the thumbs down leads to a web form for people to fill out a web form so they can figure out how to improve it. That's brought up their positive reviews on Google. Casey, if you want to add it as the example in Molo9, and we can link to your company, just let me know. Message me on Telegram, and we can set that up. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Okay, so back to the launch playbook. Publish your story. Oh, okay. So in the launch playbook, something else I talk about is so David just said that it's really useful. Thank you, Adi. We are working through what we recommend here, and it has certainly given us more solid business model that customers understand. We now know we are innovative with explorer-type target market customers who struggle to know what to explore next when entering a new market. We'll keep in touch on progress. We are more excited at this end. Big thank you. David, I'm happy to hear that this is helping you. Ladies and gents, if Molo9 is helping you and you want to add, you see a specific recommendation and you want to have your company featured as an example, because I know in a lot of our recommendations, we feature examples, real life examples. If you want your company to be featured as the example, we are more than happy to add a Molo9 community members company as an example in the Molo9 platform, because when you grow, that's a win for us. So you can either contact the support team with your screenshots for your example. You can hit the purple chat button that's on most pages on the site to send an email to our support team, or you can message me via Telegram to drop the example into Molo9's platform. Although I do have to admit, as Molo9 grows, my Telegram's becoming inundated, so soon it will probably not be the best way to get in touch, but for right now we're still small enough that you can message me there, and we can add it to the platform. Okay, 6 minutes left, and then I have to jump. So I just wanted to share with you guys, this is the process I use to create an FAQ. When you have a brand new startup, I get it. Creating an FAQ is difficult because you literally have no idea the types of questions that people are going to ask. The best way I've found to build an FAQ without having questions pour in yet is one, to add chat support and then look at the questions that people ask. Think, is this a question more people will ask, and add it to your FAQ section of your site. The other way is to go to AppSumo or betalist.com, click on the companies that are getting positive reviews on either of those platforms, and then look at their FAQ sections and adjust the questions that are there to fit your own business. And not only does this help with buyers, with customers coming into your site, finding what they're looking for and moving on, I found this helps with search engine rankings. It helps with, because when somebody has a question about our business, our company page, our website pops up to answer the question, not some blogger write and a featured snippet from their review. It also helps with chat support, because for whatever reason, some people just don't want to use chat support. They don't want to contact customer support. They go to the FAQ section, they type in Command F and put in a few words from their question to see if their question pops up. And then lastly, we have Hotjar installed, so we see recordings of what people do before they make a purchase. And I have literally seen people come to our site, they go to the FAQ section, and they read about what they're looking for, and then they make the purchase. So it also helps with your website conversions, which I think is a triple win because it helps in three different areas. But yeah. Okay, so days 16 through 21 are all about going for PR. I have a very short guide on going through mid-tier PR here because I have accidentally, early on in my career, I accidentally killed a company by getting them big press coverage, and their website was not able to handle it. Their servers crashed. It was a total nightmare. So I talk about that there, and then I kind of walk you through a few recommendations that friends have given me on how to get press coverage. But this is not something that I do. This is something that I outsource. So if you're trying to do it yourself, this is recommendations that I've gotten from people who do it themselves. And there is a video from a PR rep in there. This is not something that I personally implement. This is like one of the first things that I typically outsource is PR. Okay. But here's the link to the PR. Oh, Casey wrote, great tip to find things you would otherwise miss. Thank you, Casey. I'm not sure what that was responding to. This is the downside of our streaming service having 19-second lag, unfortunately. Okay. Publish your story as a case study. This is always great. because I found that for startups selling, checking the AppSumo reviews. Yeah, that is a great way to find FAQs. Absolutely. Um, so publishing your story as a case study for startups, um, your earliest customers often come to you because of your story, because they resonate with your story, or your story led them to realize that you're trustworthy. Um, Publishing your case study on any software sites that you're using is a great way to get your story out there on more sites. You want to think as a founder, as much as I say I'm bad at PR, this is PR. You want to think of ways that you can get the relevant parts of your story out there where people that would buy from you read. Yeah, Casey made a good point. He just said that you can also use the Q&As from the AppSumo pages. So you can look at their Q&A sections on different software profiles or pages on AppSumo to figure out what your FAQ should be. Yeah, although the Q&A section on AppSumo is kind of fiery because you have a lot of like young kids trolling founders on there with really nasty questions. So I would go into the Q&A section with not with rose-colored lenses. Let's just put it that way. I had several times people asked very inappropriate questions on the Molo9 in the Molo9 Q&A section when we were on AppSumo, and AppSumo had to go in and delete those questions because it was very obvious that they were either inappropriate or they were a competitor trying to like smear things, which was obnoxious, but that's how you build a thick skin. Anyways, if you work with a company where you have like tangible results, you can say, oh, I work with this software and they helped me to achieve XYZ. And now I'm better able to help my customers with ABC. That is a great way to publish your case study, get your story out there. It also helps people who read your case study to see that you're the type of founder who really has a heart for your customers, and you're looking for ways to give your customers a better experience. And honestly, that's how you want to look as a founder. You want people to see those times that are usually behind the scenes where you're working hard to make sure that your customers have a better experience. So case studies allow you to do that. That's why I highly recommend when you're launching your company and you're trying and using all these new like software solutions and integrations and whatnot, if you find one where you can start to take notes so you can become a case study later, or if you have one get you results within that short amount of time, publish your case study so that you have an opportunity to get yourself in front of more customers. It's just free press coverage is what it really is. And when you look at how it costs, what is it? 12 to 30,000 to hire a PR firm, like getting a case study published for free is a no-brainer. It's just like getting on the early stage podcasts. Okay, we're officially over. For those of you tuning in and going to the group session, I'm sorry. I will make up the time in the group session. Okay, the last two things in the launch your startup land paying customers. We do have how to set up Molo9 to optimize your funnel to meet specific goals. I'll drop that link in here. I do have the note on how to use high converting copy by your customers to get better performance to get better conversions on your site and to resonate with more people. I'll also drop that in here. And then I think that's everything. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Next week, we are going to go through the project section. Any questions you have on how to create a project, on how to use the project management portal, on how to add team members, how to add clients, any of that stuff, please bring that to next week. It'll be more of a tech-heavy troubleshooting session because I want to know how you guys are using it, what you still have questions on, what I can modify or add to help you get more out of it. it will be more so. I've noticed that the marketing agency owners and the marketers are using the project management portal more so than the founders. Founders are welcome to come, but I will not be surprised if it is just marketers that are here next week. So I will see you guys same time next week. If you enjoyed this, just smash that thumbs up button because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.